refractive index detector. So we are measuring here refractive index of the solvent. Okay, refractive index of the solvent. So I am going first for the second slide and then I will come to this slide. Okay, so this will become more easier to understand. What happens if this is what the total instrument. This is what the instrument. Okay, so differential refractive index detector. Okay, if you see to this side, here reference material goes inside and reference material comes outside. So it is like this. It goes inside and it comes outside. To this side, sample is going inside and sample is coming outside of this. Okay, this is a cell. This is a cell. This portion what you are able to see on the screen. Okay, and this is a light source which we are using for the analysis. Here is a photo cell. Okay, photo cell. So now this is a path taken. This is a path taken with the pure solvent in both compartment. जेव्हा दोन्ही compartment मध्ये, see this is one compartment. Okay, and this is another compartment. When in both the compartment only solvent is present, the path is taken by light is shown by this line. Is shown by this line. But when the eluent present in the sample, that solute, solvent, eluent is present in the solvent or solute is present in the solvent. So what the another path is taken by the light is this one. So there is a change in refractive index. Okay, or change in the path of the light takes. Okay, so this change in path help us to find out some eluent or the solute is coming with the solvent or some solute is present in the solvent. Okay, या दोन्ही मध्ये जेव्हा सेम असणार आहे सॉल्व्हंट असणार आहे तेव्हा याच्यामध्ये काही चेंजेस दिसणार नाहीये. बट जेव्हा याच्यामध्ये सॅम्पल जो आपण टाकतो याच्यात जर काही सोल्यूट असेल है ना ह्या म्हणजे सॉल्व्हंट मध्ये तर त्या ठिकाणी पाथ जो आहे तो चेंज होईल त्याचा. अँड दॅट इज ओनली द थिंग की याने पाथ बदलला आहे लाईटने म्हणजे डेफिनेटली काहीतरी सबस्टन्स जो आहे तो याच्यामध्ये प्रेझेंट आहे. कशामध्ये जे इल्युएंट बाहेर येत आहे कॉलम मध्ये, कॉलम मधून जे बाहेर येत आहेत त्या इल्युएंट मध्ये काहीतरी त्या ठिकाणी कंपोनेंट आहे. ओके, सी नाउ it is a differential refractive index detector when one compartment of a measurement cell contains mobile phase and other as a mobile phase and is solute, then difference in the refractive index of the liquid in two compartment will be observed. This is the difference which we are observing. Okay, when solute does not get eluted, both the compartment will contain mobile phase only. Okay, then difference in refractive index will be zero because both the compartment contain only solvent. Now the two compartments are separated by a glass plate. When a difference in the refractive index occurs, the glass plate is angled in a such a way that the beam gets bent from its path. Okay, as a result, the beam will touch the photosensitive surface at a different position and different angle, producing a change in its response. Okay, so response of the beam changes when there is a presence of any substance in the solvent. Okay, so as a detector measures the physical property of the system, it can be applied universally. It can be applied universally. Okay, however, they are very sensitive to the temperature and hence detector is used. When this detector is used, constant temperature is required. Okay, constant temperature is required. So this is already explained. So where we are using this instrument or HPLC instrument, these are what the application of HPLC technique. HPLC technique is having very wide range of application, but few of them are mentioned over here. So so analysis of and separation of ammonia of the component is possible by the technique HPLC. Okay, however, the identification and estimation of any one component is desired, then the component must be in the pure form. Okay, that must be in the pure form required. Means see what happens if you want to analyze something, a particular substance. So that substance must be known to you, and initially or prior to that analysis, you should have a pure substance in your hand. Okay, so this is like a comparative study. When comparative study you are carrying out, this is for the qualitative analysis we require the comparative study. Okay, so because we are working on the basis of retention time and retention volume, so that will help us to find out the compound present in the eluent. Okay, see, this is one of the basic limitation what we require the pure compound is a basic limitation of the technique. So second being application of high pressure to maintain the flow of the liquid mobile phase. This is what the second limitation. So over a stationary liquid phase. So we need to maintain high pressure. So as we are using high pressure, we require the pressure pump, and that pressure pump are very costly. And third one is most of the separation, that is polar mobile phases are used. It makes the use of polar solvent like acetonitrile and methanol, which are very toxic in nature. So these are what somehow disadvantage, not disadvantages, but limitations or the adverse effect we can say. So we'll see now qualitative analysis. It involves the detection of the component of the sample. In most of the cases, parameter used is a retention time of the component. So retention time of the component depend on the experimental conditions. Two alternative approaches are available. The same substance in the pure form should be available with us. ज्याचं डिटेक्शन करायचं तो अगोदर सुद्धा आपल्याकडे प्युअर फॉर्म मध्ये पाहिजे. The pure substance is analyzed under the same condition and the retention time is measured. त्याचा retention time pure substance चा आपण त्या ठिकाणी डिटेक्ट केला. If the retention time observed, that is pure component, and that of the sample component are matches with each other under the same condition, then we can say that the whatever component present in the sample is same as that of the already which we have studied. Okay, in second approach, a reference for the analysis of the component should be available. We should have a reference material available with us. Okay, the sample is analyzed under the reference. Okay, if the retention time observed are the same for the reference and the sample component, then we can say that the component which is present is same as that of or is a reference material. Okay, so see how we can do the quantitative analysis. For quantitative analysis, we use the method linearity, and another is the calibration curve method. So calibration curve method we have already studied in the SYBSc. So that is there in the practical also, and in most of the technique. Okay, or already in TYBSc also for the T4 technique we have studied the calibration curve method. Okay, so here is also we are using calibration curve method. So for quantitative analysis, whatever components are to be estimated in the sample must be available in the pure form. Okay, so calibration curve method is often used along with the sample. Standard solution of the pure component are prepared. We are going to prepare a series of standard solution, okay, and that we are going to analyze with this technique. After that, the peak area is the parameter used for the construction of calibration curve. Whatever peak area we are getting, that is used as a parameter to prepare the calibration curve. This is known as a linearity. This is known as a linearity. Once the linearity curve is obtained, the area under the peak for the component in the sample is measured. The linearity or calibration curve is used to determine the concentration of component present in the analyzed, okay, or the whatever sample we are analyzing in it. Okay, so the technique is so versatile, it can be applied for the separation analysis of everything which we can see under the sunlight. Okay, so most of the time, means mostly this is used in the pharmaceutical analysis. Okay, also it is used in the drug analysis, metabolite study. Then it is used for the study in vivo. Then for in vitro study we are using. So it acts as a horse for the pharmaceutical industry. See, in biochemistry, the analysis of all biomolecules can be carried out with this technique. Okay, then like carbohydrate we can study, lipids we can study, then protein analysis we can carry out with the help of this technique. So bulk chemicals also studied. Again, fine chemicals which are present in the petrochemical, the other industries, chemical industry, that can also studied by the HPLC technique. So overall, this is the technique which is used for all the industries, okay, like a chemical industry, petrochemical industry, pharmaceutical industry, cosmetic industry, and a perfumeries are there. And you can see a few more industries are there. So paint industries are there. Or where means wherever there is a use of chemical, you can use the HPLC technique for the analysis purpose. So after this technique, we'll see the HPTLC, and that is the last technique of this topic. So for this lecture, we are going to stop here now. Okay, remaining we'll see that is HPTLC technique in the next lecture. Thank you.